Okay, so one more quarter left. We're almost done. I'm very excited for summer already. Morning, Kaylin. So we have a couple of other things we're gonna do. The AZ Merit is coming up, so we're gonna work hard for the next month to just kind of make sure we're all prepared for AZ Merit, and we're gonna be taking the AZ Merit within the next month. And then after that, we have a couple of things we'll do. Usually we go on field trips and stuff after that, but that's not happening this year, unfortunately. You guys don't get to experience the camping trip. I know.
I'm excited about that.
Sorry.
What camping trip?
We can talk about the camping trip later. It's not happening anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Are we gonna get it?
No, we can't go on field trips. So, we will work hard for the next few weeks, and then it'll be a little bit less intense, but we're still going to get you guys prepared to go to junior high. Speaking of, there are some of you guys that need to make sure that you do your work this quarter to move on to junior high, so keep that in mind. And then from last quarter, we have a couple of grades that I haven't graded them yet, but you need to make sure that you complete them. So I'm going to go to Google Classroom once it lets me present. My computer's stuck. There it goes. There it goes. Okay, so on Google Classroom, I cleaned it out so that all the stuff from third quarter is gone, except for a couple of things. Because near the end of the quarter, we did a couple of things that are just going to go on this quarter's grades instead. So there's things like the fun they had, that story that we did, and then the flashback writing that goes with it. There's a couple of grades from there for ELA. In math, there was a couple of things. They have the mean, median, mode, and range, and the dot plot Google Slides, as well as the 3 tests that we usually take on Fridays. So make sure those get done. And then for social studies, the only thing is the world religions test. That's going to go on this quarter's grades for social studies. So make sure you have completed those. If you haven't, just do them within the next week and you'll be good. Our new policy that we started last quarter of you have a week to make things up is still in place. If you don't finish something within a week, stay as a 0. I think that affected quite a few of you guys last quarter. So make sure you're staying up to date on your work and you'll be good. Other than that, I think we're ready to get going on a new story. So our first story, it's posted, right? You guys can see it. Is our gain also our loss? It is, and yeah, it's a funky sounding. Yeah, is the stuff that we gain also something that we're losing? Is what it's asking. So let's open up that story. I'll give you guys a minute. My computer is being really slow today.
I really have not had technology.
I'm not gonna lie, I did not read the story. We're gonna be reading it together, so we will learn what it's about in a few minutes. One of those weeks, right? I already told you I didn't do any work. Morning.
And when will it take?
So, warm in here. Go ahead and get that pulled up. Keep in mind that I can see your guys' screens, so make sure you're pulling them up.
I think the picture of the old weather.
I bet it was.
The sun has tears.
Mine's taking forever to load, so we gotta wait until mine loads.
I think it is a piece.
All right, so go ahead and be opening that up. Mine's taking a while anyway, so you guys got a couple minutes to get it pulled up. Mine's really taking a while.
I mean, it is medium signal.
Yep. It'll get there. Just gotta give it a little bit of time. A lot of bit of time. There it goes. Okay. So, our new story is called "Is Our Gain Also Our Loss?" It's another blog post. What's a blog?
That's called There's a video blog called blog.
Oh yeah, a vlog is a video blog, but what's a blog?
It's called vlog, not vlog.
Yeah, but what is a blog? B-L-O-G.
You're
Kind of
right.
like, you know what it is?
B-L-O-G, blog. I just spelled it because
Blog. A blog, journal?
kind of like a journal, yeah. It's online. We know that, right? It's an internet post. They're just kind of longer internet posts. Gives an opinion about something. It's usually focused on one topic. Earlier in the year, well, like last semester, last quarter, we read a couple of blog posts about technology and people that thought that technology was good or that we needed to get off of it. So those were blog posts. They're kind of short. They're not super duper long. And they usually give an opinion about something. So what we're going to do is start by listening to the background and the author just to kind of get some context. Like I said, I haven't read this either, so we're going in full force on this. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to play it. It might be loud if you're online. It's up 100%, so turn your volume down just in case. And we're going to go in 3, 2, 1.
Is Our Gain Also Our Loss? By Kaylin Loesch. Blog post. Background. New technology changes our daily world with ever-increasing speed, often causing things to become obsolete or not current. These changes can leave older people longing for what they feel was the simpler, less complicated world of their youth. Is every generation destined to long for the past? About the author. Kaylin Loesch, born 1997, is a web correspondent for Teen Kids News, which is an Emmy Award-winning television series.
This girl that wrote this and is on TV is younger than me. I don't like that. Anyway, so basically, this background information talks about how technology is always changing, it's ever evolving, and usually once you've grown up a little bit, you kind of want to go back to the past when things were simpler, right? If you think about maybe your grandparents, they're always like, back in my day, right? So they long for something in the past, right? They want to go back to the past because it's less complicated. It's simpler then. There's not so much technology and all of the things that come with the new technology.
That's why
Yeah.
I wish I lived in Ohio again, because like, it was
That's fun.
nice.
So the first section that we're going to do under making meaning is the concept vocabulary. We're going to talk about some of the vocabulary words that we're going to see. Let's see. We're not going to fill any of this out. We're just going to talk about them today.
Yay.
Our first one is gradually. What does it mean to gradually do something without clicking on it? Yeah, try not to click on it and see. What does gradually mean? Any ideas? You don't have to be right. Just any ideas?
I don't know. No, I really don't. To graduate?
No, not. That is the root word, but it's not about that actually. So let me use it in a sentence. The kid walked gradually up the hill.
Funny.
Not funny.
Funky.
Is it like you're trying to get into something?
You're on the right track. So instead of going somewhere quickly, what would gradually be?
Oh, I know.
What's the opposite of doing it quick? Slowly. Gradually means that you're kind of slowly going towards something. So its definition is in a way that is little by little. So you're slowly, little by little, doing something. So maybe the kid was struggling to walk up the hill. I don't know. I just made that sentence up. So our next one is nostalgic. What does it mean to be nostalgic?
I've heard the word.
A lot of you guys might have heard the word.
In the past?
Kind of in the past. It's kind of a thought process of you want things in the past. You're longing for the past. You're wishing that the past was now. So you're nostalgic about it. So you might get nostalgic about your childhood. So I'm not a child anymore. So I'm nostalgic for the fact that I used to not have to pay bills and work, right? So that's nostalgia right there.
You're doing the simple word.
You think this is simple work? This is, no, being a teacher is way harder than people think it is. And then finally, continuation. What is a continuation of something?
Continue.
To continue something. The act of going on without interruption, an unbroken action. So it's continuous. It's constantly going. Continue. All right, so those are our vocabulary words. We're not going to fill anything out because down below it wants you to write the definitions, and I don't want to rewrite the definitions. We don't need to do that. We talked about them. So we can close the concept vocabulary. What we're going to do next is the first read, but before we do that, we have to read it. So I'm going to go ahead and get this playing. It's about 5 minutes long. I'll pause every once in a while to, check that we're understanding. But here we go. I'm going to play it in 3, 2, 1.
Is Our Gain Also Our Loss? By Kaylin Loesch. When I was your age, I had to wait for the hourly report on TV in order to get the information that you have right at your fingertips. That's the problem with the world today.
That's what I said with the grandparents were like, back in my day. That's what it, when I was your age. That's how it feels when people say that.
Back in my day.
Back in my day, I had to use my knowledge instead of a calculator. I had to do it all by hand. Anyway, here we go.
It was the summer of 2012, and I was standing in the kitchen with my dad and sister, holding my iPhone, a towel and bathing suit thrown over my shoulder. I had just finished reading aloud the full day weather report, and, until my dad spoke, had nothing on my mind but the gleaming pool water that seemed to be calling my name. I waited a moment for his comment to process, then looked down at my phone, analyzing it in a way that I never had before, feeling the cold, hard metal in my palm, and the smooth, sleek screen underneath my thumb. I asked Dad to elaborate on his comment.
What does elaborate mean? I asked Dad to elaborate on his comment. It's kind of a word that we see a lot with reading, like elaborate on your answer. Elaborate. Continues close.
Continue.
So if I just say, I went to the store, and someone says, can you elaborate on that? And then I start saying, well, I went.
Build on to what you said.
Yeah, keep building on. Give me more explanations. So if I just wrote the sentence, I went to the store, and then someone was like, okay, elaborate on your answer, I'd say, well, I went to the store because I needed milk and eggs and flour to make a cake. So I gave more detail. I elaborated on my answer. So she's asking her dad to give more detail about what he just said about having to wait for the hourly weather report. And she just has her phone right there. Or he. I don't know the gender of the person. Anyway, paragraph number 4. Here we go.
When I was a young boy, we had a pool in our backyard. My brothers and I weren't allowed to go swimming until the temperature reached 75 degrees, not 1 degree less. And so us boys spent our summer mornings waiting by the TV for the hourly report that read the temperature, praying that it would say the number we wanted it to so that we could dive in. I have vivid memories of those mornings. Suddenly, life in the 1970s seemed distant and people detached. It occurred to me that my dad has experienced life like I will never know it, and that I have experienced life like my children will never know. I even started to think about how things have changed in the years that I've been alive. It's not just technology that's changing either. It's our way of living. I've seen it with my own eyes, and it's only becoming clearer as the years go by. Gradually, evenings spent doing homework at lamplit desks covered in pencils, paper, and textbooks are turning into late nights under bedsheets and blankets, a Google Docs page pulled up, fingers typing aggressively on a keyboard that can barely be seen in the dark.
So there's our first vocabulary word, gradually. What did gradually mean again? Slowly, little by little. So they're saying that little by little and slowly over time, homework has gone from paper and pencil at the kitchen table, right? Yeah, so it's kind of turned from paper and pencil into opening up a Google document and typing your answers instead. That's especially nowadays with COVID, yeah. But in even when I was a kid, not so like here at school, right? Every single one of you has a computer to use. Back in my day, we did not have that. We didn't even, there was like really big desktop computers and you had to go to a computer lab that like what we used to have over here, all the computers in there are gone now. But we had to go and there were these big, huge computers that we got assigned to one specific computer and we had like 30 minutes to do whatever work we needed to do, and then we'd have to leave again because another class needed the computer lab. So computers and working on the computers even 10 years ago was not common in classrooms. So gradually things are changing, right? So where are we? We're in the middle of paragraph 6. It seems as though
I am part of the last generation that will know the satisfied feeling of stapling together a completed research paper, pages still warm from the printer. People of the next generation will never go on a family trip to the local blockbuster.
do you guys know what Blockbuster is?
No, no. Yes.
I wish.
Oh my,
I kind of do.
oh my God.
I kind of know what.
Well, let me describe Blockbuster to you. On like Fridays, yeah, on like Friday nights, instead of sitting down on your couch, opening up Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus and choosing a movie, you had to go to Blockbuster, which was a video store. There were DVDs or VCRs, like videotapes. I don't know how to describe a VCR. Yeah, they were all up on the walls, and you could go to the comedy section or the drama or horror and find the movie you wanted. And you had to open up the thing to see if there was a disc or not, to see if they even had it in stock. Sometimes you would find a movie and you'd be like, I want to watch that, and it wouldn't even be there. So you'd have to pick a different one. That is a Blockbuster. So you would pay kind of like Redbox now, yeah. But Redbox is much cheaper. Blockbuster is not that cheap. It would be like $8 or $9 to rent the DVD for, I don't know, same amount now. But that's what a Blockbuster is, where you have to go to the store, pick up the DVD that you want, go home. Kind of like Bookman's, yeah. So yeah, that was really sad that I had to explain that. Makes me feel old.
That makes me feel old.
All right.
You guys know where the Buddies is, across the street from Walmart? Oh, no, that's where I was when Blockbuster was.
Really?
That's cream soda.
That's really sad.
I think there's one Blockbuster left in the world, and they kept it just for like the nostalgia, right? The back in the past. Like you can go there, and it's like, oh my God. Yeah, it is. Okay, let's go ahead and keep going. We're spending a lot of time on this reading, but that's all right. So we're at the family local trip to the Blockbuster. Here we go.
In search of candy and a comedy for movie night. They might miss out on handwritten letters from their grandparents, available to read and reread for years. Do we even realize what we're all leaving behind? This morning, I was sitting at the breakfast table eating cereal when my dad came in to say goodbye before he left for work. When he saw that I was eating Life cereal, a huge smile immediately crept across his face, and he started excitedly reciting a commercial that he remembered from his childhood. He called me into his office, where he threw himself down in front of his desktop computer to search for the ad on YouTube, eager to take me back in time with him. Watching the commercial, my modernly adjusted ears picked up on a faint hum in the background of the actors' voices. There were no snappy graphics or fast-paced cuts. In fact, the colors were a bit faded, and the actors' faces were only highlighted in dim lighting. Then I turned to my dad, who was still beaming, as if all the happy memories from his childhood were flashing before his eyes. Judging by his enthusiastic clapping at the end, he sure didn't seem to miss modern technology during those 30 seconds. In a world of iPhones and missions to Mars, is it even possible that my childhood will ever be looked at in the way that I look at my dad's? By then, will our TV shows be even crisper? Will it be unimaginable that we needed long, easily tangled wires in our ears in order to listen to music? Will my kids marvel at the idea of us old-fashioned teenagers having to wait by wall outlets for our phones to get out of the dreaded red battery zone before heading out for the night? Will they laugh at us for using pieces of green paper to buy things? The thing that has really stayed with me, though, is my dad's comment about how all these new technologies are a problem. One day, will us late millennials feel nostalgic as we look back on our simpler days, where we sometimes got a 10-minute homework break when our laptops lost battery, giving us an excuse to sit in peace in front of a warm fire while we waited for them to charge? Will a lack of instant charging mechanisms become the new lack-of-a-weather.com app? Will we pull out our old Nintendo 3DS XLs to smile at what was once the hottest new piece of technology, recalling memories of online play with friends, in the same way that my dad smiled at an old commercial? Will we wish that things had never changed? They say that you should never try to fix what's not broken. Does the charm of the way things are now trump the need for things that are fresher, newer, and more advanced? Will we ever reach a point where there is no possible way to make any more improvements? And does this possibly inevitable peak signal impending doom or the continuation of tradition? In my last period sociology class the other day, the teacher ended off a class discussion on changing technology's impact on society with a statement that summarized my thoughts on the matter and left me with something to think about. I don't know how new technology will affect future generations, and I don't know if it will do more good or bad. I couldn't have said it better myself.
All right. So that's our story for the week that we're going to use. We're going to work with this one all week. So get used to this story. Let's see, I think it's paragraph 10. In paragraph 10 right here, all she did was ask like a lot of questions about like, will we miss this? Will we wish that things had changed? Will we blah, blah, blah? Will we? Why is she asking all of these questions?
Because in the future, there'll be newer and better things.
That's true that there might be new and better things.
Will we want our stuff back?
Yep, there might be new and better things in the future, and you might have to find yourself thinking, wow, I wish that I had this again. Like, back in my day, I'll tell you a story. The idea, do you guys know what a 3DS is?
Yes.
Okay, so the handheld device, now they have the Nintendo Switch, right? That's the newest type of thing,
Yeah.
the handheld game thing. It wasn't a 3DS, it was like the little flippy one. I think it was an SD or something like that.
Yeah, those.
No, it wasn't. It was a Game Boy. It was a little Game Boy. I have one of those. My mom and dad were cleaning out my childhood bedroom like last summer or something, and I was down there, so I was looking through the stuff with them, and we found that Nintendo 3DS. No, that's not what it's called. The Game Boy, and it still worked. And my sister and I, yeah, my sister and I played it for a couple hours because we were like, oh my god, it's our childhood. So it was very nostalgic, and we got to play a game. So it's like, now that we have all these new and fun things, are we gonna miss the old things that we used to have? So we can kind of reference back to the title of our story. Is our gain, so all of these new technologies, also our loss because we're losing all of the old technologies? Does the title make more sense now? Yeah, it didn't make sense to me at first either, but now I get it. So go ahead and open up your first read chart right here. We're going to go ahead and start working through this. Let's start by adding our title here. Is our gain also our loss? And so go ahead and get that opened up, type in the title. Yes, give me a minute. Okay, so once you get that opened up, there are, what am I doing? Let's start with the notice and the annotate. So this is something that we've been doing the whole time, right? Sorry, let me go back to the thing. Notice says, what is this about and who is involved? So you're answering, not in caps. What is it about and who? I do not need complete sentences right now. You can just type your answers. So what and who, and then for annotate, I want you to highlight 2 important details in the story. Or I guess in the blog post. So go ahead and be working on that, please. No, Marty, it does not need to be complete sentences. Okay, about 1 more minute to finish up this part, the notice and annotate. If you're done, just sit tight. Can't reach that. All right, about 30 more seconds, and then we will look at the bottom part of that. Bagels or cereal. Alrighty, on the bottom parts, this is the connections and the summary. So connecting is connecting this blog post to previous stories we've read, your life, movies that you've seen, yeah, stuff like that. So connect this blog post to, let's do 2 things. In your life, movies, TV, previous things we've read, things along those lines. So I was able to connect this to a lot of my childhood, right? Like I feel nostalgia, and I feel like the things that we have nowadays in terms of technology is not like what I had. So I can connect it to my own life like that. Can you guys do stuff like that? Probably. There's gotta be something, right? So connect it to 2 things, and then the respond is, let's do a 2 to 3 sentence summary of the blog post. What was important about the blog post in 2 to 3 sentences? And I'll give you guys about 5 minutes for this part. 3 to 5 minutes. We'll see where you are when we're done. So go ahead and be typing those out or writing at this point. About 2 more minutes. Is that enough time to finish up these couple of things? Okay. If you're done, you can sit tight. Is there a Starbucks in town now? Or is that just a
It's just a reusable.
Okay, I was like, it looks like you guys are working on it. Good, good, good. About 1 more minute. I'm gonna look at something while you guys do that. So keep working on that. Those of you that are late, do you guys want a breakfast? Yeah, Don, you can have a second. Sure. All right, so first read. Hopefully you guys are done with that. If not, make sure you go back and finish it up. The next section we're going to do is the comprehension check. This one's nice and short. So I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes. You probably don't even need 5 minutes on this. It says, complete these items after you finish reading. This, we want you guys to use a complete sentence to answer these. That's part of the grade that I give you on these. If you write it in complete sentences, then you can get a full grade. If it's not complete sentences, I do knock off a point. So keep that in mind. Our first question says, why were television reports significant to the author's father as a child? So why did he care about the weather? And then number 2 says, summarize the main idea of the selection. So you have 2 questions here that need to be in complete sentences, and I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes. This summary, you kind of already did if you finish up your first read. So number 1, complete sentence here. And number 2, instead of 2 to 3 sentences, I do want 4 to 5 sentence summary. So you might need to add a little bit here. But those are the 2 that you need to be working on for the next 5 minutes or so, please. Comprehension check number 1 and 2. Go ahead and be working on those. Complete sentences. We'll do about 2 more minutes. If you're done, you can sit tight. We'll move on in just a few minutes. If you're not done, just keep working on it. See if you can finish it up by then. If not, just keep working. Bless you. Skylar. Skylar. Just forward. Keep typing. If you're struggling with number 1, the answer is in paragraph 4, just so you know.
Now you can use weather bugs.
I just use whatever's on my phone. I don't have a specific.
They have cool videos on like those substances show like tornadoes on it, or like baby bears. I forgot how to write.
All right, about 30 more seconds, and then I'm going to show you guys the last part that we're going to do today. The next part.
Miss Jones, did you know the first baby was born with COVID antibodies the other day?
Oh, I thought you were like going back in time for a second. The first baby that was born.
He was born with the antibodies.
That's good. That's needed.
And like her mom or dad was the one got the vaccine, so she.
That's good.
I'm not good.
COVID antibodies means that you can't get COVID. You're already immune.
You know, like the germs.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the final part that you're going to do. So I'm going to close the comprehension check. The last one you're going to do today is the research section. This one is research to clarify. You're going to choose one detail from the text. I will give you a choice of 3 things, or if you find something else in there that you think is really interesting, let me know and you can use that. And then you're going to do a tiny bit of research and write 4 to 5 sentences about your topic. So choose, oops, spell it right. Choose one of the following and write 4 to 5 sentences about it. So your choices are going to be missions. Let me write 1. Missions to Mars, but before 2021. Because we know that in the last month they've landed a rover on Mars. So don't use the 2021 stuff. No. So don't use any information about the rover that they just landed, but look up what missions to Mars were before that. How were they trying to get to Mars and stuff like that. The other one that you can look up is Blockbuster. No, I don't think so. But maybe what they were trying to do.
There's this video called, there's a guy named Mark Weber. What he does is he tests and engineers stuff. The engineers because people would steal packages on the porch. Carry this big package. There's a glitter ball kind of thing. And it had a sports spread on it. So put fake skin in there.
That's gross. Yeah, that happens. All right, and then the last thing that you can look up is the Nintendo 3DS XL. What is that? What was it for? Stuff like that. So those are your 3 options, and you need to write 4 to 5 sentences about them. Yes, you can. You need to stop saying that you can't do something because you are completely capable, and saying you can't just makes me mad. So try. This is the last section that we're going to do. So basically, you are doing the first read chart, the 2 questions for the comprehension check, and the research to clarify. Once you are done with that, that is the lesson for today. We'll continue it tomorrow, but you don't need to go any farther than that today. So I'm going to stop the recording because I don't need to record us working silently. But what? Yes, but you probably need to add